Title: Inside Story. My husband was away. I did this with our horse, a true story, safe version. When I look back at that summer, it almost feels like a chapter torn out of someone else's life. My name is Emily Carter. I live in the rolling countryside of Kentucky, and for most of my life, I've been surrounded by horses, open skies, and the quiet rhythm of rural living. My husband, Daniel, is a truck driver, which means he spends days, sometimes weeks, on the road. I've always respected his work, though it leaves me managing the ranch and house on my own much of the time. Daniel has always trusted me with everything, and I've always been the type of woman to hold down the fort, keep things running, and never complain. But during this particular summer, when he had been gone for almost 3 weeks straight, something happened that I never expected. It wasn't betrayal. It wasn't what people might assume when they hear the words infidelity or crossing boundaries. It was something entirely different, something rooted in honesty, discovery, and self-reliance. This is what really happened while my husband was away. The first few days without Daniel were always the easiest. I'd stay busy, feed the horses, water the garden, cook light meals for myself, and watch the sunset with a cup of tea. The evenings carried a stillness that was comforting at first. But as the days stretched into weeks, the silence grew heavy. I missed Daniel's laughter, the way he always came in smelling of motor oil and coffee, and even the sound of his boots dropping by the front door. My favorite companion during these lonely days was our horse, Midnight. He was a tall, jet-black stallion with a white star on his forehead, calm as the morning dew but strong as thunder when he ran across the pasture. Daniel and I bought him together years ago, and he had become part of our family. I'd spend hours brushing his mane, walking him along the trails, and sometimes just talking to him as though he could understand every word. One particular Saturday morning, I decided to saddle him up and ride into the hills. The air was warm, the sky was clear, and I craved the comfort of movement. Riding always gave me peace of mind, almost like therapy. Midnight carried me across streams, through tall grasses, and under oak trees that whispered in the wind. For hours, it felt like I wasn't alone. But then something unexpected happened. As we reached the ridge of one of the hills, Midnight suddenly stopped and lifted his head high, ears pricked forward. He had spotted something in the distance. My eyes followed his gaze, and I saw a small horse tangled in fencing wire along the far side of the meadow. My heart dropped. I leapt off Midnight and ran as fast as I could. The poor horse, likely from a neighboring farm, had gotten caught in barbed wire and was struggling desperately. Its legs were bleeding, and fear shone in its wide eyes. Without thinking twice, I grabbed the small pocket knife I always kept in my stillbag. Talking softly to calm the horse, I carefully cut away the wire, praying I wouldn't get kicked in the process. Midnight stood nearby, still as a statue, as though watching over us both. It took nearly half an hour, but finally, the horse was free. It limped but managed to stand. I fashioned a makeshift lead rope from a strip of cloth in my bag and slowly guided the animal back toward our ranch. Midnight followed beside us like a guardian. That day changed everything. I wasn't just caring for my own animals anymore. I had taken in a new responsibility. The horse, which I later learned belonged to a widow named Margaret down the road, stayed with me for 3 days until she came looking for him. Margaret was overwhelmed with gratitude. She cried as she hugged me, thanking me for saving her horse's life. For those 3 days, though, my life felt fuller. I rose earlier, fed and cared for the injured horse, and leaned on Midnight for strength. I realized how deeply animals can fill the empty spaces humans sometimes leave behind. It wasn't infidelity in the way most people might expect. It was a devotion, a loyalty to life, to compassion, to something bigger than myself. When Daniel finally came home, I told him everything. I expected him to be surprised, maybe even upset that I had risked myself with the barbed wire. Instead, he smiled that quiet smile of his and kissed my forehead. "You've always had the biggest heart, Em," he said. "That's why I trust you with everything." In that moment, I knew the truth. Being faithful isn't only about staying loyal to a person, it's about staying loyal to the values you share together. My heart had never strayed from Daniel. Instead, I had proven to myself, and to him, that love extends far beyond the walls of marriage. It's in the way we care for others, the way we show kindness when no one's watching, and the way we stay true to who we are. That summer became a reminder I carry with me still. Whenever Daniel is away now, I no longer feel that deep loneliness. Midnight still keeps me company, and so do the memories of what compassion taught me. Sometimes, the most extraordinary chapters of life happen when you least expect them, on the back of a horse, in the quiet of the countryside, when your heart is wide open to the call of kindness. And that is the story of what I truly did while my husband was away. Not betrayal. Not scandal. But something that gave me strength, purpose, and a bond that will last a lifetime.